Welcome to the Defense and Aerospace Report. I'm Vago Muradian here at the Association of the United States Army's annual meeting and trade show in Washington, D.C. Our coverage here is sponsored by AM General, Elbit Systems of America, General Motors Hydrotech, L3 Technologies, and Leonardo DRS. And we have with us David Ray, who is the Vice President for Business Development at Raytheon Intelligence, Information, and Services. I got that right?
That's right. Thank you for having
me. You guys are the cyber repository for Raytheon, and cyber is a key priority, corporate priority for you guys. Talk to us a little bit about, when people have a tendency of thinking about cyber, they're thinking about the Navy, they're thinking about the Air Force, but the challenge that the Army has, given it's such a distributed force operating in much smaller units, the challenges are really different and magnified. Talk to us about some of the things that, the opportunities you guys are pursuing, and how you just sort of are viewing the Army's cyberspace.
So thank you for taking the time. I think cyber is a pervasive part of the entire DoD. The way Raytheon looks at it is we look at it from a joint perspective. So as you said earlier, with what we're doing with respect to the Air Force and the Navy, we view the Army component, integration into sea, air, space, and ground as key into what we do. And cyber is threaded through all of those initiatives. So when you think about the training that we do with the Army today as an example, we already have a mechanism and infrastructure in place to really be able to provide that cyber training to allow the warfighters to get the just-in-time training they need as the battle space evolves with cyber as a primary mission. One of the other things that Raytheon really is driving in terms of our thought process and leadership is that our heritage has come from the intelligence community and what we've done in some of the Air Force spaces you mentioned earlier, but really being able to take that and understand how to go employ that at scale is something that we're doing, and the Army is a perfect case and where we're really pushing that. We're taking advantage of the entire company. If you think about Raytheon, what Raytheon does from national to tactical ISR to battle management to the in-game effects for our Raytheon Missile Systems business, we have assets deployed in the entire Army space. And so that gives us the footprint, the credibility, and then the capability with what we deliver as cyber to be able to give the Army a holistic solution for what they're trying to deliver within cyber domain.
And where do you, what are some of the specific things that the Army needs, right? I mean, if it's pushing EW and cyber capability to the edges, which is the whole thing, almost every unit is going to have somebody who is a cyber or EW person in each of those units. Talk to us about how you're connecting sort of the big picture to the little picture there, because the company's strategy has been, don't do cyber as an applique across all of these weapon systems, have it fundamentally designed from the beginning. At that level, folks are working with a lot of stuff that's not designed with cyber in the beginning. So talk to us a little bit about how you're affecting and how you're touching and changing that sort of direct piece for the soldier.
So I think there are two pieces that I'll touch on. The first, I'll start forward and move backward. I think we're moving as a holistic community to think about cyber as an operational part of the fight, not just an intelligence gathering mechanism. And so when we think about how we're delivering capability and what we're doing from an offensive nature, if you will, to make it a part of a fight, make it a part of our ConOps and how we operationalize it in conjunction with command and control and ISR so that it's a part of what we do in our toolkit. We're leveraging that out in the field in terms of our persistent and synthetic training capabilities that we're delivering for cyber to teach our soldiers how to go fight and use cyber as an offensive capability. The research and development that we have within the company that we're delivering to our warfighters with respect to cyber capability to be used for other means other than intelligence gathering allows us to move closer to the edge so that cyber can be an important piece of the end game and not just the intelligence piece. The other area where we think we're making vast improvements is the systems that are already out there. And as I mentioned earlier, Raytheon has a multitude of systems out in the field. And so one of the struggles that any service is having is, as I harden each of the systems, how do I go ensure that I harden one, then I have to harden everything else that's connected to it. So really understanding the architecture and helping the customer understand how do we have to modify our standards and interfaces and architectures to allow for that cyber hardening is going to be key. So using cyber both as an operational part of the tactical fight, but as well as hardening the systems that are out there today based on the footprint that we have and the framework that we've put together for our vulnerability assessments, coupled with the cyber range we have in our Dulles facility, really allows us to give the customer a holistic view of cyber, both on the defensive end as well as the operational and offensive end.
Talk to us a little bit about how long it takes for you guys to reconsider your, cyber is a fast-moving space. How quickly can you retool training curriculums and everything. Is it a few months? Is it a few years? How long does it take you to sort of use those lessons learned, the operational experience that you're gaining, to then adapt the training curriculum for soldiers to make sure that they're as current as possible?
The great thing for us is it takes weeks. And one of the reasons it takes weeks is not just because of what Raytheon delivers, it's because of the vast partnerships that we have with our corporate partners as well as our customer. Again, one of the big values of Raytheon is the fact that, as an example, we train every soldier in the Army through our warfighter contract. That provides us a mechanism to be able to go deliver whatever training that they need. And coupled with our corporate partners and the research and investment dollars that we do every year to ensure we're delivering best-in-class training and cyber solutions, it's allowing us to be able to turn on a dime to really be able to deliver what they need when they need it. And we've been doing that over the last several years. Another piece that I'll mention too is, we have an extensive relationship with our Silicon Valley partners, and their ability to turn solutions at speed and couple with us to really deliver military-grade cyber solutions, in addition to the capability that they bring to the table, really allows us to move at speeds that you really don't see in other companies.
What are some of the commercial technologies, developments, and thinking that you guys are adapting through these partnerships that are going to give the biggest sort of military payoffs?
So I think one of the biggest things is the advancements that were made in penetration testing, and really being able to build a software capability and analytics capability to allow for faster assessments around vulnerabilities and to assess architectures of systems, to understand threat surfaces is an important partnership that we have with a lot of commercial companies. Being able to not only have them develop their world-class capabilities using open source software and COTS off the shelf, then being able to leverage our mission knowledge to drive the value to the customer is one of the areas that we really are seeing value for the Army and what we're trying to do within the service force.
And last question. So everybody is talking cyber, but the fact is there's tens of thousands of systems across each of the military services, and the military services have a tendency of looking at their architecture within their ecosystem as opposed to broadly connecting it to everybody else, and that's a problem in cyber. How long is it going to take, and what is it going to take to get sort of that system-wide so that somebody isn't exploiting, for example, an Air Force vulnerability to get something out of the Army or a Navy vulnerability to get something out of somebody else? Talk to us about how long that's going to take, or even if that's achievable ultimately, and where do you have to live with a certain degree of risk?
So I think it's absolutely achievable, and I'm glad you asked that question. One of the things that we've been doing that really helps solve that issue or address that problem is we've been trying to apply a Raytheon risk management framework around cyber, a common framework across the entire DoD. When you think about really being able to drive solutions that impact not only the Army and the Navy, but also the Air Force and other services, domestic and international, one of the big things is when you get down to the program management level, people don't understand what this means to me, or how do I go about assessing and fixing. So we're trying to build a common framework and working with our customers to understand if you build an apples-to-apples comparison around a framework, once you fix a common vulnerability and that runs across multiple services, you're actually going to save time and money when you move to the remediation phase to build a solution. We're working with our customers. We've seen success in that in some of our other services, and we're hoping to move that within the Army as well. And once you build that framework and that common understanding around doing the assessments, I think it's just going to speed up, one, our ability to be able to deliver mitigation solutions, and then the customer's ability to deploy those across multiple systems because you have a common understanding on how they're going to operate, how they're going to assess, and how they're going to fix in these environments.
David Ray, Vice President of Business Development at Raytheon Intelligence Information and Services. David, thanks very much.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.